digital ID. Digital ID is a big problem in the UK. It was pitched to everyone in the UK by our leader, Keir Starmer. And people just don't want it at all. So this video is about how digital ID will not actually succeed, and it intrigued me. So let's see what they have to say. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong place. Here we go.
Say no to digital ID.
There is a global network, what I call the global cult, and through that network it imposes its will and its agenda on every country eventually, which is why during COVID you had basically a global response that was the same. And here you now have, just by coincidence, all these countries now introducing digital ID. It's a global agenda instigated by a global network. And people like this guy, Keir Starmer, he's just a gopher. Trump is just a gopher. They're here today, gone tomorrow people. Whereas the cult network that's orchestrating it, and has orchestrated it through the decades and the centuries, is always there. And this is a real line in the sand, and if we allow it to be crossed, then what's the future of freedom? There isn't any, you know?
What we're not going to accept is the same excuses that people use to take the COVID jabs, right? I'm not going to accept it. It was convenience, that's it. It wasn't because they were genuinely scared of some killer virus, right? It was convenience. It was to go and access, to go to a festival and to go on a flight. I'm not going to accept that again. Ignorance is not bliss whatsoever, and I won't be dragged to hell and tyranny because people will just not want to find out. I know there's only so much that we can do to inform people, and that's why I'm telling people, go and inform yourselves, because if you know the roots of it and you know exactly what they want, you're not going to download that app on your phone and you're not going to sign up for one login. And it's not about getting your benefits and pension. I understand what they're doing, but don't do anything out of fear. If enough of us don't comply, it won't happen. We break that chain, and
that's the issue. That's the issue with it. That's the big conundrum. Because I don't know, you'll have let's say 2-3 million people opposing this strongly. But what's the population of the UK right now? Like 60, 70 million? 80 million? The rest of the people will just accept it. Like, you need to do this. You need to be in the street and be vocal about it, because you will save people along the way. But there's just too many people that will comply. And this is why I've talked at length with people like Jimmy Valley. I love Jimmy Valley. Molly Elmore. Molly is great. And these are two people that are so white pill. And what I mean by white pill is, like, they always look at the optimistic view. And when I'm around them, it's always interesting to me how, and frustrating to me, honestly, how I'm more black pill. And black pill is like, oh, I see the inevitable thing happening and we have no power. That's kind of like the black pill. And being around Jimmy and Molly put me in a position where I'm a bit more of a grey pill. Because it is always better to look at the more positive outcome of this. Like engaging on the street can actually make an impact. But I've always got this like thing and behind me just kind of whispering in my ear saying, you realize how many people are just going to take this willingly? And it gets really, it's tough to deal with.
What we're doing. We don't need 100% of people not to be honest, because come on.
So digital ID, I keep hearing everybody saying, oh, but we're already in a digital system. Yes, we are to an extent. Some people more than others. I myself have never ever given over any biometrics. I've never used my face to log into anything or my fingerprints. I don't use my phone to pay for anything. I very much deal with cash still, and I still barter.
She still barters? Does that? She goes into a coffee shop and they say £4 please for the coffee, and she's like, no, I'll pay £3. Will you take 3? No, we'll take 4. That's great. That's crazy. And look, she's one of the outliers. She's way far on that side. She's actually, look, arguably one of the lucky ones. But most people aren't in that situation. Most people have at some point done something that's kind of put them in the system. And so really we need to be finding a way for the people who have contributed something to the system, that there's like an avenue out, or a way to not get deeper into it. Because, you know, if there is such a system where they work with Apple, or they work with Google, or whatever, any of the phone companies, if they kind of just say, okay, with the new update, this ID has to go in, and you don't have to put it on the homepage. Don't put it on the home screens of the phone. Just in the background, have it as a running app. Without consent, it's possible. I don't think that's a crazy thing to think about. And that's what Crypto Stevens just said. The app is downloading that digital ID app on people's phones without people knowing. It's a scary time.
We say no to digital ID. What do you think about digital ID?
Can you give us some space, please?
What do you think about digital ID?
Just give us some space. We're just doing our job.
Yeah. The guy's just doing it. The guy's just doing his job. They're not going to comment politically while he's on the job. He is there. They're there, hopefully, to protect the peace, allow these people to protest and say what they need to say, and protect everyone around. That's what they're there for. He's not going to comment on what the riot is, what the whole thing, the protest is about. There would be something wrong if he did. And there would also be something wrong if these policemen started to sometimes these riot police or police doing these things can take a side, and it's really bad when that happens. These need to be neutral people protecting the citizens, allowing the free speech, not having an opinion, and people shouldn't expect them to have an opinion either, like on duty.
To ID. It's basically using it as an excuse to basically, for the state to micromanage every aspect of your life. So basically they'll use the excuse of, oh, it's for national security, oh, it's to stop mass migration and all of this, but really it's all about control, because at the end of the day, criminal-minded people don't respect laws. Right? That's what makes them criminals. Laws don't work on people who don't follow laws. There's no point.
What is going on? What is going on here? What are we doing? How is there this much like turmoil?
It won't be long with the way that our technology's going before it is a chip on your hands. This is absolutely the beginning of the mark of the beast, and the Equality Act, they're breaking that because they're discriminating against mine and many others' religion, forcing us to have something that's absolutely against our religion. I'll just tell you this, I'd rather live in a tent and eat from a dumpster than get this. It's never going to happen. I'm not doing it. All these people aren't doing it. Good luck.
She is. She's putting that megaphone to work. At what point do you stop chanting the same chant? Is there like a... I've not been to a protest. Is there like a rule of like how... Because you'll always get that... you'll always get that moment where you're like repeating something and then everyone's like, okay, we're like, we're tired of that one now. And then somebody's the last one to shout. And then that person who's last to shout is shouting on their own. They're like, who's... I always wonder about that. But yeah, she's making good use of her voice there with that megaphone.
You have already got a lot of ID. You've got your driving license, or you've got NHS stuff. You've got loads of information. They want you to go digital and virtual because then they can connect everyone together and control you. They want to also control your cash through digital banking. That means if you do something wrong, they'll take money out of your account. If you lose cash, you're stuck into a Digi-ID network of control. So please, resist it. Do not sign up to any Digi-ID and campaign everywhere to keep cash. And then we can keep our freedom. If we don't, we'll be taken over by a new world tyranny.
So, yeah, I mean, this is certainly frightening stuff. I'm of the mindset that this is happening. Like this will happen in some way, shape or form. So if this does happen, what are the variables that we can play a role in impacting to make this work as good as possible? An equivalent of this would be AI, right? So we know AI is inevitable. It's like continuing to be. We were watching videos the other night that of Sora 2, and we couldn't tell that it wasn't real. And I see this stuff all the time. There was the only thing that made it not real was like the extravagance of it. Like it was too kind of like over the top. But there's an inevitability to AI. There's an inevitability to blockchain. There's an inevitability to digital ID as an evolution of blockchain. The only thing that we are in control of in this case is who we put in charge to be responsible for regulating it. And that is if we assume that it's going to happen. That's the variable that we can impact. If you believe that it's not going to happen, then fine, that's fine to think, and you can absolutely do your best to try and make it not happen ever. Maybe create a spark to go back to cash. Maybe that will kick off. My view is that it will happen, and we should not make it easy for them, and we should elect according to who we think we are willing, because you can't have all the power in individuals. The power has to be in a functioning society, has to at some degree be at some level of governmental involvement. Otherwise you end up just being like tribes. I just don't think that's the optimal way to be. There needs to be a democratic view, someone in charge with people doing the will of the people. So in that eventuality, we need the right people in there who understand the dangers and who, as you know, people of character, won't encroach on the things that we're fearful about. We're not fearful about the idea of having one ID that we can use at the airport, you know, to get healthcare. We're not opposed to that. We're not opposed to the convenience of the single ID. I don't think most people are opposed to that. What people are opposed about is the potential for the nefarious to take place. You know, restricted on what you can say and therefore limited with your banking capabilities. If your social score goes down, does your bank account go down? If your social score goes up, does your bank account go up? And how does your social score go up? Does it mean you have to fall in line? Does it mean you have to say what you're supposed to say? Like, these are the concerns. And so you need someone to manage this situation. In my mind, it's inevitable. You need someone to manage this situation who won't go past those lines that we've drawn.